Hello. You are welcome back to our channel. Thank you for coming. Thank you for tuning in today. How are you doing? How was your day? Wonderful, I hope. Hope you've eaten. Hope you've had your bath. You're probably at work. Anyways, enough of my questioning. Today we are going to be talking about something very, very interesting or thoughtful. And I'm talking in hindsight now, but these are things that I wish that somebody had sat me down and told me before I decided to have a baby or before I had a baby. And before I start, I want to share with you something that I saw on one of my friends' statuses earlier in the week. It was a short comedic story, but more like a satire. It showed a father and his son walking in a park. And along the way, the boy stopped the father and said, "Daddy, why did you and mommy get a divorce?" Apparently, we could see that, the father and mom are separated. And you would expect the father to give this romantic answer to the boy's question, but no. The man just went straight to the point and said, "Sweetheart, it's because of you." And the boy looked horrified. Then the man began to explain. "When you were born, you were the sweetest and most beautiful child anybody had ever seen. But as sweet as you were, you caused me and my wife to drift apart. Your mom experienced postpartum depression. I had to become more serious at work. That put a strain on our relationship. After a while, we stopped bonding, we stopped having sex, and we started to focus just on you. And before you knew it, the sparks were gone. The flames had been killed. And here we are today." And then the man just said, "Oh yeah, walk on. We still have to go to some few places." And the boy was just so stunned. But that's like the reality of many people today. The reality, some are not even divorced, but they are separated inside the marriage. And it is because they weren't properly prepared for the event of childbearing and child rearing. So I hope that these things that I will share today will better inform someone who hasn't had a child or someone who is thinking of going another round on this journey. Or if you're just reminiscing, then you might enjoy this short dialogue. Okay? So the first thing that I wish that I had known before I married is that, just as the story told, having a baby puts a lot of strain on a couple's relationship, on the marriage, and on the individuals themselves. And if I may add, especially the woman, right? I wish it had been included in our premarital counseling, both in church, both by our parents. I wish they told us, they'd be more honest that, this thing that you people see as a regular occurrence, as a common event, this thing that we gush over the internet, because you would see a cute couple and their cute children and you're like, "Oh, my ovaries, my uterus, my penis." And you'll be like, "Oh, my spermatozoas." If only we knew, right? If only you knew that this beautiful blessing also comes with massive life changes, massive physical changes, massive social changes, massive financial changes, right? Then maybe you'd be more sober when you saw some of those pictures, or you'll be more appreciative rather than desiring. I hope I'm making sense. I hope I'm making sense. So I wish it had been told to me how much of a strain it would cause. Now I see my child and I see money. I see money. Child has to eat. Child has to clothe, as in feed, clothe. Child has to go to school. And you don't want your child to just, be in anywhere or do anyhow or be anything. You want the best for your child if you're a good and responsible parent. So I wish I had been told. I wish we'd been told. I wish it'd been included. The importance of properly sitting down and planning your family. Some people just, we talked about family planning on this channel. Some people just, they just fall into it. Now, prior to the time that I was going to, give birth, and my husband, we'd planned to not give birth for a period of time. If you've been on this channel, then you know. So we planned to not give birth for a period of time. So it's not as if we didn't have an idea that this is a big deal. But I still feel we didn't have enough of an idea. It wasn't told that, my dear, your life savings that you've been saving, take out 3/4 is going to that single human being, that one child or that multiple child that you have. And the more you have children, then the more, resources have to be split, like Dr. Daria told us. So I wish that was emphasized. The second thing that I wish I knew, and is based off of the first, is that there was an importance of me choosing the right kind of father for my children, not just the right spouse for me. And I will explain. In Christendom, it's mostly insinuated that it is the woman that is chosen. He who finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor from the Lord, right? It's insinuated, or it is, the ideology is that it is amongst the field, one is chosen, one is picked, right? A man has the options. But I'm here to tell you, the girl, that you also have options, because different people are coming to choose you, right? You're not helpless. You're not you're an active part of the process as well. You're not a passive part of that process. You're an active part of the selection process. People are coming. So it is you that will use your inner eye, not just your physical eye now, your inner mind, your inner eye, connected to God, to see who is the best person that fits into your future for you. Because raising a child isn't easy. So you don't just need someone that is fine, speaks in tongues, good Christian, has money, but is not patient, or doesn't like children enough, or isn't helpful. You don't want somebody like that. Trust me. So you have to also be involved in the selection process of your spouse, and actively select somebody that doesn't just make you laugh, make you happy. Select somebody that you know will make a good father for your children if you desire to have children. Okay? I can tell you that I did do that, but then I also didn't actively do that. I did do that. I did have a mind for the kind of person that I wanted, and thanks to God, I got that. I wanted someone who was humble, patient, family-oriented, good Christian, intelligent, the different mixes to that is just beyond Christian or just beyond believer. That's the starting point. That's the starter pack. But you have to upgrade. You have to upgrade. And don't let anybody tell you, I've said it before on this channel, don't let anybody tell you that your dreams are too big. Your opinion or your perspective for what you want is too much. Only God should be able to be the one to tell you, okay, no, you don't need this, you need this. Only God, no human being, because we are all students of life. Okay? So, and a lot of guys, now I'm talking to guys as well, a lot of guys are actually lazy when it comes to the home front. And society doesn't help. This is also to women. Society doesn't help. Their moms don't help. A lot of guys' moms believe that they shouldn't be carrying the baby. What's the wife there for? They shouldn't be cleaning the house. What's the wife there for? So unconsciously, they married a wife, but not wife. Wife/maid. Do you get? That's the idea. Especially because that was what they did. They didn't like it, but they don't want it to change for their own child. Okay? We see this even reflected in society where my husband and I, we went for all our, till date, went for all my pregnancy appointments together, all our child's immunization appointments together, went for all school runs till date together. We may interchange, but together, you get. And sometimes it surprises people that it's even the women that will be like, Oga is here again today, Oga is with you again today, rather than encourage it. Some of them are baffled, some of them are stunned by it. But it shouldn't be like that. Both of you decided to have the child. In fact, a lot of times it's the men that are clamoring for these children, Both of you decided to have the child, okay? So, make sure you have this conversation with the person. Make sure that both of you are on the same page, that you're going to birth and raise your children together. I'm grateful for the generation that we are in. A lot of things are changing, and I trust God that a lot of things will be better than our parents' generation. And in the future, a lot of our children will have a better relationship, not just with their moms, but with their dads as well. And it starts from now, okay? The third thing that I wish that I knew, or I wish that I did, before having my baby, was praying actively for my baby. To have a child that is, in quotes, wholesome, and the journey from birth to delivery was relatively without chaos, is such a huge blessing that is taken for granted. Such a huge, huge, huge blessing. It is not everybody that starts the journey of pregnancy that sees it through. Even motherhood, even when your child is growing, there are many uncertainties in the certainty of childbearing and raising. Yeah, there's a certainty to it. At the end of the day, by God's grace, we will have a child, or you will have it. But there are many uncertainties along the way. There are many things that happen to a lot of people that the mouth cannot say. Yoruba will say, there are too many things. Too many things. Like, we can't even begin to start. We try to address some of it on this channel, and gratefully a lot more people are talking about the different challenges that people face even before they get to the point of having a child, of getting pregnant. People face challenges. When you are now pregnant again, there are so many uncertainties that you are praying. I began to actively pray during my pregnancy, and I would look back and say, I wish that, some of those extra time that I'd used it. I spent some of it just praying for my unborn child, just randomly sitting down and just speaking in tongues over my unborn child, to just clear some cobwebs out of the way. Even the ones that I did, the seeds that were sown in pregnancy, I can still see them. How much more if I had started way before? So I wish that I had dedicated time praying for that unborn child, praying for the phase of motherhood. And it's an ongoing process. You can still do it. I still do it, and I have to continue doing it. Even though now my focus is more on this child that I've given birth to. Do you get? So, the fourth thing that I wish I had done, related to the third thing, is I wish I had researched more, just generally, on pregnancy and motherhood. I wish I had been open more to it. I find that when you're not in a phase, when you're not actively in a phase, you are not bothered by it. You just feel like it's so far away. Let me not bother myself with it. But it's not true. This is one good thing that I did to an extent. I used to be curious, so I would watch just birth videos. Meanwhile, I find that a lot of younger folks, even my sister, were disgusted by the idea of watching a video of a woman delivering a child. What is disgusting about it? Even men, we shy away from some of the most important things of life. This is how you came to be. You can watch Discovery Channel of an animal giving birth to another animal. But to watch a video of a woman delivering a child irks you, is disgusting to you, makes you feel some kind of way. Are you all right? let's ask ourselves, let's be honest with ourselves. And you can't talk about sex easily in Christian communities. You can't talk about delivery in Christian communities. Before you know it, you're shying away from. But you can watch your animals doing those things. Why? Why? Ask yourself. Just ask yourself, why? What is so scary about delivery? What is so scary that you can't avail yourself to inform yourself way before time? So I used to watch Dollar Comasioni, and I used to just randomly watch all this, even though at that time, just like you, it used to frighten me when I see a woman giving birth and shouting, or I see CS and I'm like, Jesus Christ, oh my God, that kind of thing. But those things were helpful. Those things were helpful. And it will help you if you take some time out by yourself also, and you apply yourself to learning about the process of life before you have to engage in that process yourself. So the fifth thing, I don't know if it's fourth or fifth, but I think it's the fifth thing. The fifth thing that I wish that I had done before I got pregnant or before I had a baby was to be more useful to the pregnant and new moms around, the pregnant moms and new moms around me. I had the privilege of being with 3 categories of mothers. The first two, the first had a child and a toddler, and I was there when she was in her pregnancy phase for just a short period of time. That's Sister Yvonne. And the second, that was when I went for my NYC in Kano. The child was in his growing phase, I think, before the age of 1 till, after 1. I stayed with them, not briefly, a bit beyond briefly, as my uncle, Uncle David and Auntie Lade. And the final person that I was privy to having the information about pregnancy, delivery, and raising a child from was my friend Adobe, who I was in her delivery room with, because I was taking the photography of the birth of her child. And all those experiences, very, very different, were instrumental in impacting me at the moment and also beyond the moment. When it got to my own time, they were helpful in strengthening me, they were helpful in encouraging me, and they were helpful because I had gained some experience from doing some of those things, And I look back and I say, I wish I was even more helpful. I remember I used to actively run away from changing Timmy's diapers. As Uncle David's son, I used to run away from changing his diapers. Until today, I'm teased for it. I could do every other thing. I could cook, I could clean, I could carry the child. But you see, diapers, I run away from it. And now, looking back, it wasn't such a big deal. It wasn't such a big deal, and I should have been more helpful. So if you have people around you that are in those very tender phases, the phase where, the child is being incubated or child is being born, then avail yourself to helping those people. If you can, give your all, give your best to them. It will also be helpful and useful to you. I wish I didn't look at mommies funny in public spaces where maybe their children were throwing tantrums. And I'm like, I can probably do better than this woman. You can't. You couldn't. I mean, we are here now. We are seeing it. Okay? Be kinder and be more useful. It will help you as well. I wish I knew that or I did that. The sixth thing I wish I knew and did, I wish I knew that women were beautifully complex and you would need them for support, and you would also need to be wary of them. So let's start with support. The best place you can be when you're pregnant or when you're newly delivered is to be in a community where women are supporting and encouraging women. An active community. I have different communities that I'm on IG passively, where I get information about motherhood. Some of them are not even run by just women. For instance, the noisy pediatrician on IG the doctor is a man, but he gives so many valuable and useful information that a lot of women are on his page for. But he's a man. There are different communities. There's Dr. Mims, there's first-time moms, there's just so many communities. There's fab moms, there are working moms. There are different communities on IG where you can join and you can get a lot of information that will help you in your journey. So it is nice that prior to your journey, you join some of those communities and begin to inform yourself. Then for active communities, there are Facebook groups, there are Telegram groups where you can ask questions that or things that you're undergoing during pregnancy or during child rearing, that you get instant responses to. Those communities are also important for you to join. One of those communities that I joined is Baby Nurse Africa. You can find her on IG, and the Telegram link to her group is there. Very helpful, very, 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 very helpful society. And I remember that it was a guy, my friend Olapo, that invited me to the Baby Nurse Africa group. So long and short, you need women. They're your support system. You need to be in those groups because they will help you, they will benefit, and they will inform you even as you go on in your journey, right? Now, as there is the sword has two sides, right? There's one side that is good. There's also the negative side. Women are very, very competitive. And in a lot of more physical groups, you would come in contact with people who will graze you the wrong way. Family members, friends who would who may brush you the wrong way. Let me not say who will. It's not every time. So women have come to see and know shades have little tendencies to be toxic, unconsciously toxic, right? Like I shared with you, when you're going to the clinic and your husband is always coming and they'll say, Oga, don't worry, when you are more busy, this thing will soon stop. And you're like, who told you it's not busy? It's not about work. Yeah, a lot of women, a lot of men feel that once they are bringing money to the table, then they've done enough. And some women encourage those thoughts too. And they are jealous if, they are seeing your man actively come and they're like, okay, so what do you guys do for it? Are you guys both working? You're both working and both of you have time to be doing all this, to be actively in your child's life? And you're like, yeah. It's a decision that you make. So sometimes you have to block out some of those voices. I remember when I delivered, one of mommies close to us will ask, was it natural or CS? And they are not asking from a place of, what do they want to use the information to do, if not to size you up? So you have to also be very forgiving because they are not consciously toxic. It's like an unconscious thing. It's just, I don't know whether it's a natural trait or tendency to be competitive. You're talking about your child being peaceful or something. I remember a friend said, don't worry, it's just a matter of time. This child will change. Things like that, little snacky comments, little unnecessary comments. You've not snapped back by now. Your body has not come back. What are you still doing with yourself? You're just letting yourself go. So don't take those things to heart. There's a saying that goes, hurt people hurt other people. There's some place in their life that is also deficient and they unconsciously spill over some of that to you. It is you that will now actively decide to block it. Do not make yourself a receptor of any of their bad energy. If you can, those that you can talk to and warn, you warn them. Those that you can't, you avoid them. There's some aunties that I've avoided. There's some people that I've avoided. Neighbors I've avoided. You avoid them. You're polite, you're nice, but you avoid them. And those that you really love, you tell them not to do again. Okay? Or you let them see the wrong in what they're saying. and you all grow from it. So those are the two sides to the coin, two sides to the knife of women. Women are beautifully complex, and it is good that you know it way ahead of time so that you can use it to your advantage. The final thing that I wish that I had known prior to the having baby phase or stage is the importance of understanding when it comes to human beings. I wish that I had a little bit of a background in psychology. Is that weird? But yeah, human beings are so different. Human beings are so different, and babies are no different from human beings. They are just smaller human beings. So babies are very different from one another. So you can't go with a general ideology of this is how babies are, this is how babies should be. There's no how babies are. There's no how babies should be. Human beings are unpredictable. Babies are unpredictable. When you approach that phase with that understanding, if you approach that phase with that patience, if you approach that phase with those eyes, then things will not get at you very quickly or easily. One of the key things that I've learned about human beings is that the heart of the king is in God's hands. So the heart of your child is in God's hands. So that's like God has the ultimate manual for any human being. So you're letting human beings help, you're letting human beings guide you, you're researching and getting information, but you're letting God also be your ultimate guide, because he knows this human best. He can help this human best. He can protect this human best. Do you understand what I'm saying? So going in with that mindset of human beings are different. Every child is different. Even when the competitive mother suggests something to you like, oh, I was already potty training my child at 1 month old. If it doesn't resonate with your heart or your spirit, then you're like, human beings are different. Eventually, we'll all get there. I remember there was this friend of ours, and I've told you guys so before, that came to our house, and my son was just 6 months, and said he started working at 7 months, and my son was still learning how to sit at 6 months. And when he left, I told my husband that, but is he flying now? Is he flying in the sky? Aren't we all walking? If he's doing something different than us, then I would understand, because what is the pressure? And the essence of that discussion was just to let my husband know we are all different, but at the end of the day, with God's help and God's grace, we will all get to where we are going. At the end of the day, everybody's journey is even different. Everybody's way of learning, everybody's way of doing things, different. So don't be pressured, and don't let the older generation as well. I know grandparents have a habit of doing that. Has the child started talking yet? Has the child started eating? Has the child started doing this? Do the best that you can, but be at peace and understand that your child will go at the pace that your child will go, and you are the best parent for your own child. I hope that these few points of mine have been helpful. I hope that I've covered as much as I could, and I hope that you've learned 1 or 2 things from it. I will see you in the next one. Thank you for staying till this end. My talk is plenty, and much love. Bye.